working hard out there. Honey's got to get a few breaks soon.
He wants the glory. Up getting hammered to score. Throw in. Dowell with the winning goal. Colony wins.
This is it. This is the big one. The very last game of the Australian Ultimate Championships Division 1 2025. We have an awesome Women's Division gold medal match here. This is Avril Tam here alongside John Greenfield. Greenie, we have the Titans in Ellipsis Ampersand versus Manly Mavericks, who have been looking so strong all season.
Yeah, this is the battle of the Titans, to be sure, Avril, as we started off here. Centering pass.
Prentice slices it up, but Manly, they gather their first opportunity and an early one. Moving up to Wentworth. That one is too low to the ground, so a couple of execution errors for both teams to get started.
Yep, just getting the nerves out on the first point of this big final.
Phillips, a big shot goes. She's got Dotley in plenty of space, got complete separation from Kaiawea. And Ellipsis off, but there is a call.
Yeah, it's a pick call. Kat wondering how that did affect the play. Great matchup here. Kat Phillips and Holly Reeve. That is accepted. It did not affect the outcome of that throw and the catch, and that is a sweet dime there from Kat Phillips.
And very well read by Dorothy Lee as well. That disc was trailing away from her. She did have another backup receiver in the space too, but reaches up with both hands and controls that one down nicely. Dorothy
Lee playing Barramundis last year. She was the fittest player on the team in all of their benchmarking. Yeah, she has got an incredible engine. As we see the team here, Avril, of Ellipsis Ampersand, led by Kat Phillips, Michaela Dingham, Spirit Captain, Alex Patterson, a younger player, also helping with the leadership, as well as Jodie Palmer.
Yeah, and Alex Prentice, we know she's going to be playing in her third Crocs campaign coming up later this year, so they've got some real stars. Liv Carr as well, she's also on the Crocs roster. So a lot of experience and success experienced by a lot of these players, but also interestingly, they've got quite a few rookies too, Greenie.
They do. As we see this pull go up, big outside in, keeps it in the field of play.
Yeah, that lefty pull by Grimar, just blading across, really cutting through the wind. So we've got Rickard's Tang moving it up to Lynn. Nandan on the mark. Lynn goes a big shot of her own. She's looking for Weir. That one's going to fade out the sidelines and didn't give Weir any chance at scoring that one in the end zone.
Yeah, that was the same third shot, and it was also pushed out a little bit by the breeze that's on offer here.
Yeah, so the breeze is coming a little more towards the screen and slightly right to left, I'd say. So those long shots getting pushed down. This one is a high shot to Grimoire. She comes down with it.
Little scuba dooba there, Avril.
Yeah, really nice, skillful throw, not deterred by the conditions. So Ma now goes upstairs. That one is a hammer across to Lee. One of the rookies, as mentioned, Nandan, previously playing for Factory, now with the looking to make her mark on this Ellipsis team, but there is a pick, I believe, in the stack.
Great to see the rookies and new players of Ellipsis handling, getting touches early in the final of Nationals. This is brilliant.
Yeah, way to get your confidence up. And that one is indeed. Oh, there may be a call as well on this one.
All right, it was an incredible bid by Kim Marsh. I think she copped a bit of contact before the bid, and they're talking through that with May Lee Rickards Tang.
And I think I saw an injury signal from one of the sideline players as well. So see Lucy Della coming on. I didn't quite see who it was that came off. So it looks like there's an injury called and also a call on that bid between Marsh and Ricard's Tang.
She got fully horizontal there. So we've got it's a foul called. She's getting perspectives from the players around it. And so we see Amanda Fung, coach of Ellipsis.
So contested foul. So the disc will go back to Nandan. I believe she was managing an early injury, so hasn't played as much in the last couple of days. So perhaps some fresher legs for Nandan. But a few new additions to Ellipsis roster on this line. So as we said, Nandan coming across from Factory. Paola Martin there. She played for Argentina at the World Ultimate Championships. Okay, so there's also a travel as well. So
it's
there's
all
three calls in that stoppage having to be worked out. Oh, and somehow that one ends up in the hands of Marsh. Through to Martin. And a lot of hot defense forces that overthrow.
Yeah, there was a lockdown defense from Manly upfield. Just overcooking that swing pass.
Yeah, they did well to cover all of those open unders. I think their defense has been really part of the reason why they have made it to the gold medal match. It's just stifling and puts so much pressure when you can't see any open options. So Lynn this time, Milek goes up line. And she goes a big shot of her own. There are two players out the back. But Patterson reads that best.
It's Patterson. That was a great grab. Kai Weir bearing down on her.
Nandan now. Upline offered by Patterson. Looks that one off. This time Lee gets free. And she goes a hammer. So they're liking their overhead shots. That one's going to float, but Marsh just reading all of these errant throws.
Marsh is cleaning up here for Ellipsis.
And that one suspiciously free. Nandan will be a pick called. This will go back to Marsh. So Marsh doing a lot of hard work to gain all her possessions at the moment.
She's saving things here for Ellipsis. Two clutch grabs on the break side.
Dumps it across to Nandan. Martin working hard in the open space, but Gregory close, so Marsh now on the break side and a continue to Della.
Marsh here, wait, there's another pick called. Can't celebrate, but Marsh once again, she's the break side queen. Delivers to Lucy Della, but there is a pick in the stack and we're going back to Nandan.
So Marsh herself, a recent addition to Melbourne from England originally. See Pal Martin calling for the disc with a nice open under, but gets looked off because when you've got a break side available, why not use it? But yeah, it looks like the pick was why Marsh was so free.
Yep. I'd like to see Lynn here stop that break throw. She was broken a little bit too easily by Nandan. Beautiful throw from Nandan though.
So there's a bit of chat. Players working out where they were when their throw came off. Of course, a couple of passes before the, should we say false goal or?
Yeah, the return goal. Return to centre. There's no dump here either for Nandan. I imagine there's a bit of a count on from Lynn. In fact, she's saying 5. So stalling 6.
Yeah, so we'd suspect that front of stack movement to come in for the fill. There's Jodie Palmer there, Ricard's Tang wary. Taking a little bit of time to resolve some of these calls.
Yes.
Greeny.
Yep. It's a slow old start and we have more discussion.
All right, so Wu comes to join Della, who was front of stack apparently, but they use the break inside this time. Nandan to Marsh. And over top
pass,
release.
There's another pick. We're going back again. Well, there's a lot of practice goal scoring here for Ellipsis.
Yeah.
They're certainly getting their reps in.
It's kind of like in training when you have to do that double score, Greenie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. And it's for these situations because you have to deal with a disappointment where you think you've scored. Oh, now Boost, it's out, and that is a goal to Nandan. Marsh to Nandan, they get it done. The Ellipsis girls are up and about. That is a break. We're at 2-0, Avril.
Jeez.
Not the start Manly wanted.
Yeah, for sure. And a stop-start kind of point. They had to throw the goal about 5 times, it feels, but look at them celebrate that one. Way to go, an early break up. Really assert yourself on this gold medal match.
Yeah, and in their warm-up, they had Nandan with a microphone doing some karaoke while she was warming up. Just had the mic in her hand. She was running and singing at the same time. It was quite so she's multi-talented and multitasking here.
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely a way to get fitter, challenging yourself to both sing and run at the same time.
Yeah, good for cardio. All right. No panic stations yet for Manly, especially with the coaching leadership of Nikki Shires and Di Warman. Both Australian reps and great players in their time. Kat Phillips with the pulling duties. And no doubt that she'll take the Holly Reeve matchup.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether they go for a match or perhaps a zone look on defense. Has been a little bit unpredictable with the wind. And they do pull out a zone to start off with. So Manly working the small ball. Nice popping through the cup by Ricard's
Lucy.
Tang. And so, again, small ball with Milek. Not really happy with that contact, so stoppage will occur. So, I mean, not unusual to see some stoppages early in the game. Both teams just trying to ascertain the level of contact that they are each happy with.
Yep.
So 4-person cup, very tight on the close discs here. Oh, and a little cheeky lefty backhand. Somehow Ricard's Tang looks like she almost bounced it.
What great reflexes.
And that one to Milek, just feeling that tension a little with the defender closing in.
Yeah, it was an awkward disc to catch.
Kat Phillips with a high release backhand to Patterson. Moves it inboard to Hanrahan. Liz Patterson now involved. Some swipes as a lefty, and now she goes a high release backhand to the other Patterson, but Alex Patterson gets a bit blindsided, loses sight of the disc, unable to catch.
It almost fell into her lap, but she just couldn't get hold of it.
And so a high disc, Kat Phillips pulls that one down as she's done so many times before. Moves it quickly up to Dignam. Kat Phil with an aggressive upline option, but gets looked off in favour of a hammer. And Patterson again going to Dignam, but those throws just not quite connecting on the last line.
Phillips controlling the deep space.
Yeah, deterring any long option. As you can see, the 4 players in that front cup here from Ellipsis, that forces Manly to move backwards behind and having to swing to the wide side. The wind pushing the disc a bit beyond, but Milek this time traps it. Ricard's Tang on the far side. Inboard to Otoyo. Lynn now.
Hannah Gregory is open in the end zone.
That is a beautiful inside flick by Lynn to open things up. They do well to keep the disc on the high side. Knocking on the door now. Desperately need to hold this one to avoid going down 3-zip to start the game. Reeve, we are just hanging out in the space at the moment. Now she works hard, gets the tiniest of passes.
And then one of the kneecaps from a handling buddy, Kaiwea.
So Milek now, just a little one to Weir. So eventually Manly get the job done for a hold, but it felt like a lot of passes to get there, Greenie.
It was, yep, and a little bit scrappy. They won't care. This is the final. If they get the job done, they don't care how many passes, how many turnovers. They've got to keep turning up, though, point after point. what I'm seeing, Ellipsis is actually looking okay. They had a couple of drops, but their movement of the disc is excellent. And I'm loving seeing using their full roster, using the full range of girls on the line. That was impressive. There we see Milik. Just a little pop there for Kaiwea. Such an impressive athlete.
It's an interesting one because...
as we see the Mavericks. And I just a little shout out here to Sarah Wentworth. She's still playing. She's been the best player in Australia for a number of years, and she's still doing it. And she'll be doing it on the line here, no doubt, from the D line. And a little shout out to Kaiwea. She is playing World Games this year, and she's looking to fundraise. So if you have any spare change, go and see her. She's willing to sell you stickers or shirts to help her in her campaign to get to China for the World Games.
She'll be hoping for a successful campaign here. A gold medal up for grabs as Della working with Prentice. That one is an overthrow, too high and brought down. Very short field here. Prime opportunity. Weir goes to Otten. That is too low for the outstretched hands.
An opportunity missed there by Manly.
Absolutely. And that one goes from Della to Lee, and a bid there forces that turnover. Carty getting to ground over Carr.
Great bid from Carty, did enough to put off the receiver there. Holly Reeve.
Another short field, this time a swing around to get it to the far side. Kim with the disc, marked by Phillips. We are working hard under, but that one bounces out of the hands, so what a few catching errors. A wind having little to do with it as well, but they just looks like the dish has been a little bit squashed after Weir's bid, so they exchanged it for a new one.
And Della there, I'm not sure why the disc has gone out to there, but Della trying to get to the disc early, but covered there by Kaiwea. We're back in.
So players going to have to recalibrate a little bit. That one, again, a high shot, but the scraps picked up by Palmer. Roberts now, an open under by Lee. Oh, and then breaks an uncharacteristic drop by Phillips. So just some nerves here from both sides. More incompletions than we've seen. So we are upline to Reeve. That one also bobbles out of the hands. So can kind of feel the nerves from both sides, Greenie.
Yep, there's who settles down first will be significant in this game. Phyllis with an inside. Great bid there by Weir. Can't get the biscuits.
So Della now goes up line to Roberts. No continuation. So she goes a funny shape throw. I'm not sure if that was a hammer that just got blown over or...
Unfortunately for her, there was a gust of wind that got up just as she was going for that hammer across the pitch.
Probably snaked around twice, I think. And Reeve now, a high release backhand. She uses the wind intelligently there to kind of ride it, to let it float into Weir's hands. And Weir goes a big shot looking for Otten. Can she make up the ground? Again, that slight downwind direction, just pushing that disc well further than desired.
That's the second time Weir has missed Otten. Otten, the great receiver.
And I know there's a bit of wind here, Greenie, but, you know, not insurmountable. And we've seen a lot cleaner possessions by both teams. So I think psychologically also a big factor to contend with. And that one goes up to absolutely no one. So some miscommunication. However, they do get a bit of field position with some extra roll.
Yeah, I would like to have seen Kaya got her hands onto that a little bit better, because now it's rolled out the low side of the field here for Holly Reeve with a difficult start, and she just boosts it long.
She's also happy to get field position. Otten in the space, but Della applying enough pressure. There's going to be a foul called and some discussion for a push-off.
Yeah, so as we see the disc go up, Della trying to get position, but she is contacting Otten's there in the back. Yeah,
in AFL terms, the left hand here can pushes Otten a little bit forward, and then the right hand pushes her a little more. So,
yeah, she was in the hockey position there, of running style.
Yeah.
Okay, great spirit from Lucy Della. accepts the foul. It'll stay with Otten on the goal line. She has Evelyn Ha there in the vicinity.
Dumping back to Jenna Kim. And you can see her match up with Phillips. Oh, the score count rising. That one's overthrown, but Carty dives for the scraps.
Carter almost getting a mitts on that one, full extension, but another opportunity missed by Manly.
Yeah, that inside-out shape on the throw is why it went up. She just needed to snap the wrist and throw it a little flatter to try and keep it low.
Yeah.
And Prentice now fakes a big, goes the inside shot to Phillips, but before she heads off, Weir calls a travel, I believe.
Yeah, now because she'd already passed it, it has to come back to a reset, which happens now. We're back in.
So Lee working hard under, but she's shoot away. Phillips opts for a nice shot over the top of a few bodies to Carr. Keeps it low to Della. Keeps it low to Prentice, who goes a high option to Dot Lee. Reads that blade perfectly.
And who else but Dot Lee to come down with that one. Prentice, the provider, with a beautiful outside-in flick. We're seeing a great matchup between Sarah Wentworth and Alex Prentice. And Prentice able to get up the line away from the outstretched arms of Sarah Wentworth.
You see this quick movement, defense, very difficult to catch up, but this was a perfectly weighted blade. So in the end, it was to the break side of the field and just sneaks over the head of the defender.
Yeah, it's the fat side of the field, as it's often called. Holly Reeve, giving Holly Reeve no chance to have a bid on that one. Dorothy Lee, 2 goals, looking very useful as a primary receiver for Ellipsis and from the D-line.
Yeah, but interesting to note, with the Ellipsis O-line, their 2 possessions so far have not been clean holds, so they have given up the disc. Manly so far unable to convert the opportunities. So if they are to stay in this match, Ellipsis aren't going to be giving you too many of those. You need to be able to peg one back. But the O-line have to get to work first. They did have a nice clean hold, so they'll look to repeat that same effort. Jess Lynn working to Weir. Itoyo moves up, gets looked off, so Lynn in the dump space now. Dignam able to drive her out, so Milek now.
Mackay there with a nice swing to Lim.
And almost a no-look dump there from Lynn to Weir. What trust.
And she's got those glasses on, so it'll be hard to see, but here's a big shot here from Kai Weir. Milek gets it.
I don't know how Milek snuck out the back with no defender in sight, but...
Oh, a beautiful throw there to Rickard Tang. That was superb. A great sequence of play. And we see a nice offensive run there from Manly to bring it back to 3-2. As we see this throw now from Kai Weir, Milek takes it comfortably, and then she's got the confidence to just put this in front for Rickard's Tang. That was excellent.
So the O-line for Manly now working their way into the game. Their first offensive point was unfortunately broken, but the subsequent 2 have been clean holds. So the nerves have started to settle for Manly's offensive line. It's now the D-line's job. Okay, opportunity first, which they've managed. Next to the conversion, as we say, see here, Maya Milek. She has been a real release valve for Manly. I think when the stall count starts rising, she always gets herself in a really good position to get the disc. And then she has so much confidence with her throwing. We've seen her put many long options which have connected well. So,
I agree completely. She's very smart on the resets. Knows what the thrower wants. And then, she's got a lovely step out. She's quite tall and uses that height to her advantage. So
Holly Reeve and Kai Weir looks like they'll be playing pretty much every single point in this game so far. And that's a nice pull, pinning Lippy back. They move it up. Phillips. That one's a high shot. Della jumps up and grabs it with 2 hands. She draws the on match up again. Dot Lee now, marked by Carty. That one a bit too high. Liv Carr bobbles it about 5 times using all 4 limbs.
She almost caught that after about 3 attempts. A great effort tumbling down onto the ground.
Reeve now, that's pretty far away, so I wonder if she's looking for a long shot, but this time strings one to Strawn. Dump across to Reeve, so they're being forced backwards, but they do move forwards via Otten. An inside shot, that was some communication breakdown. I wonder if there was a call and people stopped.
All right, we're seeing this in the red. This is the chance here. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Both
5,
hands.
6. And her leg in there as well.
Yeah.
Gee, she almost got that. And this was odd. She was trying to...
There's a pick downfield. You can see the hand signals, but given it was a turnover,
Yeah.
the question will be,
Okay.
does the turnover stand, right?
Well, it'll come down to Sarah, whether she feels, Sarah Wentworth, if she feels that she had stopped because she heard the pick call, because Otten was clearly trying to hit Wentworth.
Yeah, so if the pick affected play, then the disc goes back. If they say, you know what, it didn't affect the outcome, that's when the play stands. So I agree, Greenie. Good decision there, but there is a bid and a foul called and accepted very quickly. So Strawn will keep the disc marked by Bitchwan. Oh, and a lovely inside backhand. That one is read well by Prentice. Bitchwan, that's a high one to Phillips. She's going to have to beat the sideline. She does.
Reeve going up early, missed the opportunity. Well done from Kat Phillips.
Bitchwan holding the disc. Low grab from Roberts, picks it up off her toes. Open side cut by Dot Lee, gets to the ground to ensure it stays up. Now a nice long pivot, throws Phillips in space. They continue to swing, maintaining possession here.
Phillips going every second pass on the doorstep.
It's waiting for the cuts. Della's covered, but Prentice isn't, and that is Ellipsis with the score.
Well done, Ellipsis. Kat Phillips getting it to her old sparring partner and friend, Alex Prentice. Fantastic goal. That's 4-2. That was another big battle, and we saw Manly with a chance in the red zone to put that one away. Couldn't do it. A really nice offensive push there from Ellipsis. Kat Phillips doing a lot of work in the clutches here. And watch this here. She draws Holly over and then comes back for a simple break. Winky Wentworth can't get there. Too tight a space. Well done, Ellipsis.
Does feel like Ellipsis are certainly holding their of the end of the bargain. They have given up possession a couple of times to this Manly D-line, but so far, Ellipsis offense holding strong. Manly, their D-line are going to have to find some way to convert it. They've brought across like Reeve and Weir. They've been on pretty much every point, yet unable to get the job done. So, going to have to find some solutions here.
Yep, and do we see... Reeve has taken a sub here. Kyle Weir on.
Milek on as well, and Jess Lynn, so still plenty of throwing power. Etoyo also works very hard downfield and very calm. I have to say Manly's O-line, apart from that first possession when they looked a little nervy, they've managed to continue playing with confidence and composure like the Manly we have seen all throughout this tournament.
We're seeing a 4-person cup here. It's very tight.
A lot of bodies here close to the disc, but a nice blady throw to break through the cup to the high side. Rickards Tang moves it back to Weir.
Very important here for Manly not to get stuck on the sideline.
Yeah, that's exactly what Ampersand are trying to do. And they do slowly inch towards, but Weir, that is a very aggressive hammer, well too low for Rickards Tang.
Yes, you could see what she wanted there, but the execution wasn't on point. Kat Phillips is backing up from the last point to take the disc.
It's a relatively short field here for the Ellipsis D line. And she goes a high shot up to Marsh. She goes a hammer of her own. That one is also well too spicy.
That was extremely ambitious, where she might have been better having a backhand, you know, just putting a simple backhand into the corner of the end zone, but going for the hammer option.
Yeah, just going for some float. So interesting that both teams are trusting their throwing skill set. We've seen hammers, we've seen a scuba, we've seen a lot of high release throws as well. Not all of them necessarily connecting though.
And that's part of the strategy this year for Ellipsis, that they want to empower all of their players to go for their throws.
Just so many bodies in and around the disc here. They need to get it either over the top, but instead they get it through. So that is a pinpoint shot by Weir there. Floats up to Gregory. And a little dishy off. So now on the high side, Manly. Wu in the back space. She keeps that disc nice and low to pierce it through to Rickard's tank. Jesslyn now, been loving watching her throwing skills on display here. Makes Milik dive, and that one bounces off.
Goes to ground. Another chance here for Ellipsis.
Patterson runs to get it going quickly. Moves it up to Phillips. Big swipe. No dice. And Marsh gets free just in front. So Phillips with a longer option to Dignam. And a break throw to Martin.
Well caught. Martin laying out. Throwing the disc in the air. The Ellipsis girls storm the field. And now the scoreline at 5-2. A little bit of separation here, Avril.
That is Ellipsis' second break now. So they are absolutely taking on the opportunities when they get possession, which is the difference in the two teams at the moment. Kat Phillips there with a beautiful around break to Dignam, who goes for the continue break shot up the top. So once you get it on the break side, just so difficult to stop, Greenie.
It is, and Dignam there going for a more conventional throw into the end zone for the continuation. And Phillips getting every second pass again. This is the second point in a row where she has jockeyed the offense to the end zone. And look at this layout. Celebrating on her stomach. Hands go up.
She did really well not to get ground stripped there. Kind of caught with two hands, but transferred it to the right, recognizing that the disc was falling to that right direction with the momentum.
Definitely, and lifted the wrist up as she hit the ground.
Yeah, very safe play there by Paola Martin.
And again, we're seeing contributions across the Ellipsis roster. They're trusting their girls to get the disc, to make the throws.
Della goes with a big pull. She will trap them on this close sideline, so very well positioned here to start off the defensive point. We've got a pretty similar O-line out there. That's Mackay working with Lynn. Reeve now back on field. Weir works with Wu. So this time they do work a little bit more quickly to get through the zone, but there's only 3 in the cup this time.
Yep, there's still a very tight cup, but going through now.
Just one less body does make a little bit of difference here. The small ball looks like they have collapsed to match now, but Mackay works it up to the high side. Gregory comes to meet the disc. Wu on the doorstep now. She shoots to Lynn. Manly with a clean hold.
Jesslyn with a pirouette catch, making sure her feet are in. Much needed for Manly to get that goal. They beat the zone. They were able to break across the field up to the high side and then attack to the low side for the goal. As we see this beautiful flick throw, the continuation so important here from Mackay.
Yeah, the timing on Gregory's cut here.
Oh,
perfect.
He was lovely.
Yep.
Saw the opportunity for the swing pass, the pirouette and the spike from Jesslyn.
Well done keeping the snap on the wrist to make sure that their discs have plenty of rotation, they can penetrate through. Yep.
And we saw earlier in the game that Manly didn't get that wrist snap on one opportunity down there and got flipped into the air against the wind. The wind died a little bit, I would say. It's gusty. The problem for the girls is that it's not consistent, and that may hinder some of their throws, some of the throwing position. So Holly Reeve back on.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The point that they got broken before, Holly Reeve was having a spell. She's been back on the last 2 points, so she's potentially a match winner here. Manly relying heavily upon her being present.
All right, here we go. Manly with a cuppa of their own.
I like this, trying to stem the flow of Lippy. They have been earning the turns, which is the conversion, and Kat Phillips, a beautiful high release flow, just floats just above the two defenders' hands. And they make short work of this possession. Della in the red zone, Roberts providing an option, but somehow all alone at the back is Liv Carr. How did she get so free?
Yeah, she was the thief of the night in that point. I think she was just went straight to the end zone from the pool. And didn't they carve through that, Avril, like a knife through hot butter?
Yeah, Prentice here. So much, like the defenders just were caught watching the disc here, unable to trap the open side. And that was Della up to Carr for the score.
Well, Holly Reeve was left on an island out there on the far side. She had to take the cone, but that opened up the opportunity for Liv Carr. As we see the crowd, mostly the players who are very happy to sit back with a beer, and their job is done. Their national's over. But it still goes on here. 6-3 to Ellipsis, Ampersand.
Yeah, as we said, Ampersand, 2 breaks up, but their O-line not looking impenetrable. So, Manly offense. Can they slot a nice, efficient hold here? Holly Reeve, Kaiwea, Milek, Lynn, all working together. So Weir goes a long option. The aim was to get it to Holly Reeve, but that was an overthrow. So feels like Weir's not quite as on point as previous days in this tournament, Greenie.
Yeah, true. We've seen her absolutely lock in on previous games. She could still get there. She may be just going through some, still yet to find her feet.
Yeah, that's actually her 4th throwaway of the game. So a bit uncharacteristic to the very clean moving throw she's had in the semis and quarters. Working it up via Martin. Safe jump back to Phillips. And that is a break throw. Oh, and they move the disc side to side. I like the fact that they move the width because it means that the Manly defenders must spread to cover a lot of ground. And that is a nice shot. Scraps picked up by Nandan.
The confidence on these throws, the insides, the skill, all on show here for Ellipsis.
Oh, and that's a fantastic bid, but Patterson will track that one down. An injury call here after a fantastic bid by Weir.
Weir there clutching her hamstring after an incredible layout bid. Big smile on her face, but I'm concerned.
Yeah, and Patterson just keeps her feet and stays aware that the disc is actually still live, so runs to trap that one. So fantastic defensive effort there by Weir, but unable to turn the disc over. So a couple of substitutions now for both teams.
And Avril, if we think about the work that Kaya and Holly Reeve have done over the course of this tournament, it's been a Herculean effort. They've been such incredible players. In every game that we've covered and every game we've seen, they've been the best 2 players out on the pitch.
Yeah, and I think, shortening the lines as well, they've played multiple points. It's, the lion's share of the points, both on offense and defense. That does take a toll on the body, and day 4, the very end of the tournament, sometimes that can be very telling. And that one is a missed throw there by Patterson. Gives the Manly O-line another opportunity. Lin,
Oh,
that one
great bid.
well trapped by Wu, looking cool with the glasses to boot. Lin, that one throw to the wide side for Milek. Enough time to snaffle that one. And Reeve, Lin is very, very far away in the dump, and so are the downfield cutters, but Ricard's Tang, some good movement off the front of stack. Ricard's Tang only eyes for backwards throws, eventually looks forward to hit Lin.
Lin with the break.
What a throw. Lin, immediate trust, breaking the mark with ease, and Wu up with the goal.
Jenny Wu gets the goal. Great throw from Lin after a lot of pressure to catch that disc in the red zone. I don't think Ellipsis are going to be too discouraged. That was the offense of Manly, and they got turns in that point, and Marilla put a lot of pressure on. Look at that catch there by Jenny Wu. That was fantastic. Ricard's Tang can't find the option that manages to get Lin, boom, after a lot of pressure, and then the step around flick.
Oh, that was incredible throw here by Lin. I think she's been the one for Manly to be able to adjust her throws best. Some of the others have taken a little bit more time to calibrate. But I think if, you know, Milek, Lin, they can all work together. Of course, Reeve and Weir. I think it feels like it's in Manly's control, you know. It's not like Ellipsis are putting on particularly difficult defence. They, you can see the sideline getting their voices up. Big contingent from Manly, their other women's team, the Marlins here. Everyone wants to see a good game in this final match of the tournament. But like I said, it feels like it's in Manly's control. It's errors from them which are causing the turnovers rather than the big defensive efforts of Ellipsis.
Yeah, you're right, Avril.
So,
it's
you know,
all in front of them. It's theirs to win. Huge pull here from Holly Reeve. Look at that.
So much float. And the wind aids as well, popping that one up for some additional seconds, enabling the defense to get set, and Phillips comes up to meet that disc.
Prentice and Wentworth going at it. Big put. Prentice, Wentworth going over the top of the head there, over the back.
Oh, Prentice with the hand up in apology as well. But I have to say, very crafty work by Wentworth. And there's a call and an injury, it looks like.
This is Wentworth. This is also not a good sign. There's a limp. Now, I know Sarah was dealing with a tight iliosacrum earlier in the tournament that stopped her dancing on the dance floor when we went out for dinner the other night. But, that's not a good sign. Let's hope she's okay. But Manly have the disc here. Holly Reeve to pick it up. Yeah, look, the shot from Kat Phillips, you do it. You've got Prentice going long with steps. You do it all day. The tight mark from Wentworth, but he went over the head there.
Yeah, that downwind direction again, just pushing the disc further than expected. And as you said, the wind kind of gusts up, so you release it thinking the wind is this strong, but then it has a little extra burst. And now Kim working with Carty. So Manly also not afraid to use the width of the field. Back to Wu in the centre. A nice undercut here. Ha gets her hands on it ahead of the bidding defender. And now they work the high side. Milek, she likes this long option. And that one works out.
Oh! Stoddard there to Jenny Wu. She couldn't hold on. They looked so good on that offensive push. But another turn straight away. And Manly back with the disc. Just past halfway.
I'm loving the sound effects from the crowd now, Greenie. The oohs and the ahs.
Yeah, we certainly have our biggest crowd of the entire tournament so far now on the sidelines.
So they work their way to the high side yet again. The cutter's very far away. And that opens up a shot, a high one. Stoddard goes up.
Fantastic. Anna Stoddard goes high, takes the grab. The Manly girls flood on. They got a mosh pit in the end zone. They know the importance of that.
And a key change in personnel for that point. We saw Wu, Milek all come across from the O-line. which gave them that ability to actually convert the break once they got possession.
Right. We've just got an update here from Blair from the sideline.
Yeah, Kaya Weir, despite that injury departure early on, she's feeling okay. She's back on her feet. We might see a return to play, unsure just at the moment, although considering how fantastic her teammates are doing, it might be a well-earned rest for her at the moment.
Good to hear the update there from Blair, working hard on the sideline, keeping track of the stats and also the stories from this gold medal match. So Manly, their very first break, they pegged one back, but still a little bit more ground to cover.
Yeah, and this wind picking up once more. Probably just in time here for Manly. Ellipsis, they're not going to be deterred here. Such experienced leadership here. Great direction from Amanda Fung as coach. They'll be looking to try and ice this upwinder.
And the sideline gets louder. Everyone finished all of their cool down, finished their debriefs with their teams. Della completely unmarked. That's an interesting choice. Reeve now eventually comes to put some pressure on the match. Liv Carr up to Patterson. Ellipsis offense making short work of this point. And there is the pick called.
Already up to halfway and looking very strong and confident with the throws. Manly unable to stop the breaks.
Wu taps it in.
Ooh.
Ooh, that is a close bid by Matilda Wu. But Ellipsis continue with possession. Lee moves up to Della. That is an option a little high. Rickards Tang tips it, then catches it, then gets it going quickly to Reeve. Reeve with a high release, riding the wind. Dot Lee somehow turns behind, sees the disc and slaps it down.
That was a hamstring block from Dot Lee, and she's off to the races. It's picked up by Holly Reeve in the backfield.
So Kat Phillips now waiting for it to evolve. Liv Carr, nice undercut. And she keeps the disc low, but that is too low for Dot Lee, and Manly get another bite here.
Otten now. Rickards Tang.
So Manly, the legs are feeling wary. The downfield is pretty stagnant, but Reeve gets a shot. Wentworth.
Oh,
so-
disc died in front of her. Picked up immediately, and we're off again.
And we have Carr now. That is a bid by Holly Reeve, but I'm not sure how Kat Phillips trapped that one. She goes a long option. Patterson, Wu. Patterson wins out. And a sneaky little inside flick to Della.
Goal to Della. What a point. What a catch and throw from Phillips.
And that is relief from the Ellipsis players. That was a hard-earned offensive hold.
Oh. You just get a feeling sometimes, at least for this first half, there was a turning point in there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Manly had their opportunities. As we Rickards get the second chance grab there. She did really well on that. She wasn't going to give that back.
No, but Holly Reeve shooting several long options which weren't quite connected.
Yeah, well, it is so difficult with this downwind to sit the disc properly. But watch this, great bid from Holly Reeve. But Kat Phillips, straight up, she knew her defender was on the ground.
I honestly don't know how Kat Phillips manages to catch that, because Reeve went for the bid. Kat Phillips had to almost dive over Reeve to avoid causing any injury, and she catches that while trying to jump above. So incredible athleticism by Kat Phillips to save that point and eventually convert it.
Well, Kat Phillips probably, well, I would say, in my opinion, the best player in Australia right now. And she's showing it. She's bringing it to this final.
It's really interesting because pre-game we were having a chat, Greenie. Kat Phillips, obviously a game winner for the Ellipsis Ampersand team. Weir and Reeve, I would say, can be both match winners for the Manly team. But Weir and Reeve, their throws not quite on target today. Kat feels, her percentage of throwing connections much higher.
Yeah, and I think that speaks also to the level of experience that Kat has. Now, Kaya Weir is going to have her first chance at World Games, but it's her first chance,
Yep.
you know. She is an incredible athlete, but Kat Phillips there is just showing how to jockey an offense
Yep.
and how to do it really professionally. Yeah, and that is years of experience playing overseas, playing for Australia, playing World Games. Yep, I remember her. I saw her first time at Melbourne Hat when she was 14, you know, and she
Wow.
was throwing there. She picked up the disc. Of course, Mish had started in 07. As we see this championship ladder here, Avril.
Yeah, so the journey for both of them, their quarterfinals, both were relatively easy with large margins, but in the semi, Asterix coming out with a loss, Manly really proving to be the better team, Greenie. And I think the last few games that we've watched from them at the tail end of this tournament, their offensive composure has just been, you know, precision, right? But
Yep.
this game against Ampersand, who are also the other undefeated team, the additional pressure has really caused the offense to look a little frazzled. So now Reeve moves up to Etoyo. This ellipsis zone trapping them on the close sideline. Lynn now with the disc. Has to move backwards to Reeve. Crosses that one to Milek with some air. Brings that down and secures it. So Wu swinging across.
They're moving that cut, Manly.
Yeah, now they make some meters through Lynn. Some contact with Nandan. And again, Lynn finding the holes through this cup to use the far side, moving behind and around this zone.
Yeah, and Reeve there wanting Lynn to move up.
Yeah, they need to attack from the back because the handlers are staying really stagnant and kind of passive
Yeah.
in this back space. So they're not able to make many meters, having to rely on precision throws to get through.
Encouragingly, though, they are able to penetrate through the cup. Great throw from Lim on the doorstep.
Oh, and Milek jumps that one in. There's going to be some chat. Catfill is happy with that as a goal.
Oh.
So Manly make good work of that zone.
Now, we've just got an update here from Mozza.
Yeah, great goal from Manly. However, they're going to have to go the rest of the game without Kaya. She's confirmed out. Cleats are off. So a big blow for Manly. But the comment from her on the sideline was, I fully trust my teammates. So still up and about.
Yeah, well, they've done pretty well without her so far. Key player, thank you, Mozza, for that sideline look. That must have been the hamstring when she did that incredible layout block that was actually recovered by Patterson.
Yeah, really respect Kaya for that call. You know, she could easily say, gold medal match, I want some of the glory.
Yep, and I also respect Kat Phillips here. Watch Kat. Okay, there was a question mark. Did Milek jump this in? Was it a goal? She gets it there. Now, watch Kat Phillips. Well, we don't see the end of that, but the other girls were saying, oh, we're not watching sure of the end. Kat said, no, she's in. You know, and you're doing that sort of spirit, that level of clear thinking in a final. That's the mark of that woman.
And so I don't think Holly Reeves is going to come off at all for the rest of this game,
No.
especially given her partner in crime is no longer available. But she starts that point off with a huge pull, and an offside is called. So that is a huge let off here.
And considering that pull was in the back of the end zone, but props to Ampersand for seeing the call. Sometimes as an offense line, you don't see the game advisor making the signal for offside. They picked up on it, whether they were getting a signal from their own players or not, don't know. But here we go.
It was probably the best pull that we've had so far as well. But Della keeps that disc nice and low, moves it up to Phillips. So Kim has drawn this Phillips matchup, experience versus youth. Again, Catfill on that far sideline, sweeps a big option. Prentice will have to keep her toes, and she does with ease. So that is a 4-pass offensive hold for Ellipsis to go up and take the first half 8-6.
A same third huck to Prentice from Phillips. A lot of trust in that, a lot of skill to get it past Wentworth. As we see this on the replay, this is on a dime, this throw. And to our audience, the gusty wind that she's throwing that in, the skill to do that is exceptional. Prentice in the back corner of the end zone. Ellipsis take half and will be feeling very good about themselves, Avril.
And it's been a really entertaining first half, Greenie. The two undefeated teams coming into this match. You can see the spirits are high, the voices are up. We are looking forward to plenty more amazing ultimate to finish off this tournament. So you see a very coordinated celebration by Ellipsis Ampersand. Yeah. They are up a break here in the gold medal match. We'll see what Manly Mavericks can do without Kaya. We will see you for the second half.
Yeah, I'll call. Right, halftime entertainment here at the 2025 National Championships here in West Beach, and they're off. It's the Dulio. Chile. Chris Hill is nothing. Looks like is that Dave Hall has blown them away in the Dulio. Chile has crossed the line now, and age shall not weary him, but the rest forget. Adam Frendo in there. Well done, boys. I hope we have a women's, but we may not. But good to see the boys out there showing who is the fastest amongst the punters here on the sidelines. Yeah. David Hall, the Julio winner. We might cross to Moz. What did you see, Moz?
I saw a bit of a Back to the Future reference. Blair and myself were talking during the bronze medal match about the Dulio.
Oh, right.
And how it was a bit of a forgotten art. It was something they haven't run anymore, so we absolutely love seeing it. Obviously, each team able to nominate one player. Quite often the rookie, sometimes the fastest player. But love seeing the Dulio back, Greenie. Greenie, you would have seen a lot of Dulios back in the day. What was your favourite?
Oh, a naked Andy Norman winning the Dulio because he started at the 90 metre or the 10 metres outside of the end zone. He was waiting there lying down, waited till they caught up, then crossed the line in front, completely naked except for his moose hat.
Mine, similarly inappropriate. Mine was Brendan Ashcroft, who actually was and is a national sprinter. So did it pretty easily. Did it in a nice, beautiful red dress. Got to the brick mark and then pulled out, went, no, I'm done. So I'm glad that the Dulio's back, Greenie. That's a little bit of nostalgia coming through.
Yeah, and Chris Chillyhill, very proud of him. He'd be the oldest man in the Dulio and the slowest.
So the boys, they were racing hard in the Dulio during this halftime break. Can Ellipsis, Ampersand race away with this game, or will the Manly Mavericks have something to say about that? It's been an interesting one. Looking at the statistics from the first half, Manly have actually scored 3 clean holds. Ellipsis only 2 clean holds. So again, the opportunity has been there. A high release backhand moves it well over the cup.
Another zone here from Ellipsis.
Yeah, but Manly making short work of this one. Wu dives to grab it with the one paw.
Oh, she misses Osaka on the end zone line.
And a few players working hard, but she's completely unmarked. Eventually, Rickard's Tang beats her player. So a clean hold again for Manly Mavericks here to start the second half.
And they're back to 8-7. Doing what they need to do, another clean hold. As we see the Manly huddle, one foot in, the other foot out.
Yeah, they were boot scooting for sure.
A little bit scooting. And there's a lot of energy from the Ellipsis huddle there too at the halftime.
Yeah, so interesting option to leave Wu completely unmarked on the end zone line. I thought they had some extra players poaching in the receiving space, but in the end, Rickard's Tang gets her shoulder in front.
Yeah, and I was worried because she had an open Osaka there and sort of looked her off. Just turned away at the wrong moment. Rightio, 8-7. Wentworth back out on the pitch. That's great to see. She's they pumped her with painkillers. Got her back out there.
Interestingly, they've brought on Jess Lynn to this D-line, who doesn't often appear. You know, Milek, Reeve, they've crossed over a fair bit, but Jess Lynn not so much. So some personnel changes to try and get this break back. And
that might be a great move with this wind picking up, Avril.
Yeah, I reckon she's one of their top throwers. Reminds me a little bit of Caro Ma. You know, she has that confidence and ability to throw with lots of different shapes. But so does Della here. Dotley makes an undercut, but covered by Otten. That was very close. Beard.
Wu there getting right under the grill of Patterson.
I believe that was...
yeah, but it was a little bit too close, a little bit too much contact there.
Yeah, that was Gregory on Prentice here. So
a
big shot goes up from Prentice looking for Kat Phillips. That is a 4-throw score.
I'm loving this strut from Prentice. She copped a lot of contact from Gregory in that play. Gets up, bombs it to Kat Phillips. Look at this. What a throw.
And it just feels like, you know, regulation play. This is the Ellipsis that we've come to know.
Yes,
you know? The confidence, the composure, they just make it look so incredibly easy. Very different from the first few points where it's frantic and turnovers each ways.
Yeah, and just this cohort of such experience. Prentice missing a lot of the season, being over in Canada on holidays. She comes back and she hasn't missed a step. She's just the experience. And she's moving well too, so yeah, it's very well done. And now they've got the upwind defense, but they've also got a 2-point lead.
As we said, it's just one break ahead at the moment. It's been a little while since we've been at break points. The O-lines have really tuned in and managed to adjust their throws to the wind.
Yeah, two breaks to one we're at the moment.
So nice vision here of the puller in Lucy Della. Milek this time to pick up. Jesslyn out there again. A low shot to Reeve. She scoops it up. And just working through the handers at the moment. Again, the cutter's far away. Itoyu makes a nice undercut, but that is covered. So Lynn goes a high shot, a bit of inside-out shape, sucks Pal Martin in. So Ricard's Tang comes down with it, and Reeve with a bladey flick now to Itoyo.
Oh. Asaka to Itoyo gets the goal, goes up. Holly Reeve putting one into the air. A lot of trust on that one. When Lynn did the shot that needed to be done, getting it to the high side with a break throw, but had too much air. The Ellipsis defender came underneath it. Ricard's Tang able to pick it up. And I loved Holly Reeve's move. She knew that Ricard's Tang was going to get it, so she already moved downfield. As we see this, she's moving downfield, ready to get the pass. And look at this spicy outside-in throw.
It's a really beautiful shot as we see here in play. So watch this pivot step. She steps slightly backwards, right? Which opens up that angle to get that blade, so the throw blades back in bounds, right? A lot of the times throwers get caught with the same angle on their pivot, just, pivoting horizontally or, a little bit forward. But I really like the way that Holly Reeve has gone a slightly backward, almost like a 4 o'clock angle if you're pivoting at a clock face.
Yep.
And that enables that really nice, blade to float.
Sit. Yeah, give it some sit, for sure.
So I like it. Manly's O-line is now ticking along. Their last 3 possessions have been clean holds.
Yeah. Yep.
And Ricard's Tang coming across to this defensive line. So they are mixing up the personnel a little bit now.
Yep.
Otten, she has a matchup on Liv Hanrahan. Prentice. So Ricard's Tang has taken that matchup, forcing Ellipsis to go backwards, but Prentice wants to get it out of there. Is there a bid? Yes!
Oh.
That is a fantastic block. Woo!
Jenny Woo. We love you.
Plenty of love from the commentary booth. We're looking for more highlights like that in this game. Woo, up line to Reeve. She dices through there. Ricard's Tang, Wentworth, Otten using their full line here. So waiting for it to evolve. Wentworth now takes it with heat from Marsh. The up line looked off, and there is a call, perhaps a pick.
Great sequence from Manly. A lot of pressure from Lippy.
This is the time now. They've created the opportunity to get this break point. The question is, will they be able to convert, Greenie?
Well, this is their best chance for some time, Avril. They're just past halfway. Disc in the hands of the evergreen Wentworth. She'll be looking for Holly Reeve here. No, gets it.
So Wu, who had the block to earn this possession.
A great throw.
Oh, beautiful around break. Reeve with the disc. Wu again working hard. An inside flick to Wentworth continues.
That's a goal!
Gregory with the score, and Manly, they do peg the break back. We are on serve again in this gold medal match.
That's another mosh pit in the end zone for Manly. We are tied at 9-all.
That throw, that was beautiful by Wu. Just a quick step across, chucks the disc under the arm of the defender. And here, Reeve to Wentworth. And that continue on the break side. So when both sides can get the disc to the break side, they are able to manipulate and get completely free. Gregory, clap catch, lays out to make sure of it as well.
Huge effort from Manly to get to that point. And they're doing all this without Kaya Weir, let's not forget. I love Prentice. Prentice on that last point. She copped another huge bump, this time from Ricard's Tang as we waved to Jenny Wu. On the sideline, she had a big effort there with a block and a beautiful break throw. But just Prentice on that last one, the composure to get knocked around, get up, and then send a shot that for a great pass.
Big Manly cheer squad here. You see the other women's team and the Opens team on the sideline going for a Manly chant, trying to G up their players, and that is a nice pull, drawing Ellipsis back. Lots of meters to work up here, but Phillips works it up to Della. Della goes a big option. They want an efficient hold, looking for Carr. There is defensive pressure there by the youngster in Evelyn Hart. There is going to be a call.
Yep. And what we saw was Evelyn Hart got positioned behind number 19, Carr. And I think Carr felt that pressure behind, but Carr was moving backwards at the time. Oh, great spirit from Liv Carr. Good grab there from Holly Reeve.
So Manly, another opportunity for a break point here. The youngsters, Kim and Wu, getting it done. Kim left unmarked for some time. Kat Phillips eventually sets, but there is some pointing and waving, some calls, and you can see the camera tilting a little in this wind. It's just gusted up.
Jenna Kim here, pops it out to Reeve. Back to Kim. Fakes the big throw. Needs a reset. Nut gets it down the line. Evelyn Haar now. Needs a reset. Puts it up for Reeve. It's too far. Ellipsis now with a chance for a break of their own. But they're going to have to do it from the near sideline, almost coffin corner. But who else would you want than Alex Prentice with a disc in her hand? Looking for Della. Puts it up for Della. Bid.
Holly Reeve gets some mitts on that one, but players slowed down. They'll have a chat about whether there was some infringement.
Yeah, it was quite close. There was probably some contact. Let's have a look. Yeah, it looked like Della might have even had it, and Reeve's hand came over the top. She's waving this away. This is incredible spirit from Ellipsis.
So Reeve now, short end zone to work with. Can they get this? Yes,
they can.
The youngsters for Manly getting the job done in the absence of Kaya Weir. That was Evelyn Ha. Jenna Kim getting big for Manly.
Cue the mosh pit in the end zone. Holly Reeve just wanting a drink of water. She is double, triple, you name it. She's pretty much been on every point.
Yeah, I think it was the first half where I recall her not being on the field and then Manly getting broken. So, like we said, her presence has been really crucial to Manly.
Yeah, the other great thing, Avril, is contributions from the younger players of Manly. So important. You have to involve the whole team. It's got to be a team effort if you're going to win nationals.
Absolutely. Jenna Kim and Evelyn Hart, they are both on the Stingrays, so they are playing under 24s in the women's team for Australia. So I'm so excited to see what the future holds for these talented women.
Yes, they'll get their opportunity on the world stage in Spain later in the year. 10-9 to Manly. As we see the coaches discussing on the sideline. Di Warman and Nikki Shire's known each other for years, have been so heavily involved in this Manly club that we can see on the sidelines. And Avril, there are the men's team and there are the second Manly women's team here as well on the sidelines.
Yeah, I think it's been a long time since we haven't seen an Ellipsis final. So since Ellipsis split off into two, that first one was in 2022, the women's division has just been dominated by them. So it's been a long time between Manly have even broken through to a gold medal opportunity. They don't want to let this one slip through their fingers.
Wentworth there, incredible bid on Kat Phillips. But look at this, Prentice, provider once more. She is making a statement in this final. I think that was Lee on the end of that one.
Yeah, that was very well done. Again, Ellipsis forced to use a very, very narrow channel, but proven that they're up to the task.
Yes, they got the job done. And again, I'm sensing karma. These players are so experienced. And Prentice there gets it around the bidding Otten. Lee, such an engine, such an athlete. Yes, well, this wind picking up again, Averill.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a smart move by Manly to force it to this sideline. I think oftentimes you think the default was a forced flick, right? But forcing it backhand, forcing that difficult throw kind of into the wind, potentially blowing the disc out. This time not successful, but certainly pressured the Ellipsis offense to have to be very, very precise with their throws. So we see Kat Phillips, her and Prentice have really stood shoulders and heads above for Ellipsis today.
Amanda Fung just issuing her orders for this defensive point.
I mean, interestingly, Greenie, the last time that Ellipsis broke Manly offense was back at 5-2. So it has been a long time since they've had the opportunity. And really, at the end of the first half and then through the second, it's been clean holds. So Manly offense have not given up possession.
Beautiful throw. Oh, Osaka unable to hold on. Here's their chance. Phillips given the backhand here. And she's going to boost this.
As called, Greenie, this one goes towards Della. Again, squeezing through that narrow channel, but that is a one-throw conversion to bring it back on serve.
Well, Ellipsis, as I said, there was calmness there. But Ellipsis able to break in just a single pass.
And that one, Holly Reeve was off field for that point, Greenie. So.
You sure? Well, I thought she was on actually, but yeah. Now,
I'll have to work that one out.
Okay, I'll say tactically, I think that was a mistake to give her the backhand there. I think Osaka, well, at least a straight up, because she's a shooter.
Yep.
You don't care if she's dumping it back.
Yeah.
You just don't care. Get in front of it. Don't allow her to do that.
Yeah, they've shown a couple of times that they can squeeze a narrow sideline on that far side. Reeve was on, so yeah.
Coming back to Phillips though, the skill to do that.
Yep.
That was a difficult throw, and she made it look easy into the arms of Lucy Della. A full pelt into the end zone. Oh, geez, the skill on display here. Rightio. Ampersand back up, 11-10.
We remain on serve. So the nice high pull, you can see Dignam running down with intensity. She gets a match up on Lynn. So Marsh currently marking Milek, and call on field pick as signalled by the Guns. It's an interesting time in this game, Greenie. Back on serve, 11-10. You know, we've had a few very efficient holds as well. So, you know, feels like the end is nigh, and I'm not sure. I can't pick a winner at the moment.
Yeah, well, it'll go a long way, Manly, if they can hold here. Bring it back to 11 all.
Reeve looks for the dunk back to Wu. A lovely
Beautiful
inside
side.
flick,
Oh,
and a
another
second inside flick to Milek. Gregory jumps to Ricard's tank. Milek, she's going to look the continuation backhand because Gregory's in space. Martin also in the way, but Gregory comes down with the goal.
She had the sit. She knew where it was coming down. She takes that. Such an important hole for Manly. The girls get around her. Well, that was a beautiful offensive point. We were just talking about the clean holds and the importance upwind for Manly to do this.
Oh, Gregory.
Lovely, yes.
Just outreads She knew where that disc was going to drop, gets body position and nudges Martin a little bit under the flight, and times this jump perfectly as well. Gets the mitt secured around the disc and makes it look very, very easy.
Yeah, Martin there wanted to get front position, but Hannah Gregory had the position the whole time. All right, but you know what? Again, Ellipsis, they've got such experience. They're not deterred at all, as we see more of the Manly sideline. Cam there, pointing to his head.
So Reeve, stats board, spells 2 assists on a block, a couple of turnovers. I have to say, though, those were much earlier in the game. I feel like Reeve has been able to really refine and adjust, and the connections now percentage much higher. So she can continue to be more accurate with her throwing. That's going to go a long way in Manly's favour to take out this game.
Meanwhile, Prentice centering, Kat Phillips, such experience.
So Phillips and Prentice working together, but between falls to the ground in front of Wentworth.
Bit one there going down, matched by Wentworth. Just getting the legs caught up.
So just working out the stall count. I think they said maybe it goes back a couple of counts.
Yeah, I think we're coming in on 3.
So
One.
interestingly, Evelyn Hart, one of the youngsters, is trusted to take a big matchup on Prentice. And Stoddard there on the mark. So Dot Lee and a nice undercut by Phillips. She's marked by Reeve and a lovely away shot to Dot Lee with enough float. And here we go to Bitchwan for the score.
Lovely goal there. Beautiful offense from Ampersand. You could bottle that offense and replay it all day. And Dot Lee, unstoppable. Bit one there with the goal finally, but look at this leading pass here.
You could see...
That was Wentworth.
Yep.
Wentworth went in, didn't get the poach block. Bit one was her player, so suddenly she was left alone in the end zone. Well, whatever you can do, we can do also, says Ellipsis. And Manly need another point of the same beautiful offense. And what was key for them last time was those insides, Avril.
Oh yeah, those inside flicks. I think there was by Wu and then by Milek. So the teams that can get it to the break side, as we have a look at the stats here, 3 breaks apiece. We're now on serve. Turns also very even, but clean holds. Manly offensive line just pipping Ellipsis up by 1. So not giving up the disc as easily now in the latter stages of this game after a nervy start.
Yep, a lot of energy from the Ellipsis huddle. Meanwhile, Manly have brought it in close.
I'm curious to know who actually called that timeout. I wonder if it's to put on a particular power line of some sort to, get the break up. It is going to be Ampersand on defense, so it might have been a strategic move by their coaches and leaders.
From Manly's point of view, any chance to give Holly Reeve a rest is a welcome one.
Yep, that's
so
very true.
I'm sure the Manly coaches will use their full complement of timeouts.
And the Ellipsis sideline not to be outdone. Plenty of friends and family here. They also have their second women's team as well as their opens team on the sideline in support. So Mandy Fung there. I'm sure there's plenty of strategic ideas in that notebook that she's carrying.
Yeah, again, drawing on years of top-level experience.
So they've put on Kat Phillips, Alex Patterson, Kim Marsh, Lucy Della, Michaela Dignam, Paola Martin and Nandan. So
this is a primo line, isn't it?
Big D-line for sure.
Big D-line.
Milek catches that pull coming in fast. Reeve moving up to Ricard's Tang. So opting for a match defense. Ellipsis trusting their matchups. Itoyo somehow gets completely free. small shot up to Wu. Oh, and that is a very sneaky inside flick to the dump. Reeve, that one somehow picked up by Jesslyn, but Nandan is going to question that. Did it touch the blade of grass?
Great bid from Lynn. Let's have a look. Oh, she clutched it before it hit.
Just did that left side of the disc from our vision.
Let's have a look
Did
again.
she have control of it before it touched the grass? Oh, so difficult to tell from that bottom lip. I think if it's difficult enough for us to call on a slow motion replay, it'd be very difficult to call definitively on field.
Yeah, definitely. We'll leave that on field to the players. Yeah, it's tight. She gets a hand on it.
Yeah, it's just whether that back part of the disc, so you see she catches the front end, but the back end, did she have control before it touched the grass? So difficult to know. I think sending it back is probably the right call here, Greenie.
Yep.
So Jesslyn does up the laces for another attempt at a bid here. Disc will stay in Manly's hands via Reeve. So the Manly offense very spread out at the moment. We've got Gregory all the way in the deep space, double coverage. You see Catfill peeling off to thwart any long options, knowing that Reeve's got a big bomb on the arm.
Yep. She's been doing that most of the game, controlling the backfield.
Saying that Manly have shown that they can work through the small underspace. This one is a high one. It's going to be scratched, but Martin picks up that block. Quickly to Marsh. Rifles it up to Dignan. Tells him to come closer. Come to me, come to me. Phillips, wide. Itoya on the mark. An easy one to Marsh. Flips the 1-2. Now on the doorstep, Gregory takes the contact, calls a foul. Stops play.
I'd be surprised if that just didn't stay with Phillips here.
It'll stay. I think it was just the... Okay,
Yeah,
now
she's
there's a
retracting
retract.
that.
I think it was more just the bump here on the run through, just wanting to be able to reset the mark.
Avril, we've got Kat Phillips on a 0 count on the end zone line.
It's very dangerous for Manly.
Manly cannot allow the open cone here. They cannot give up the open cone.
So Nandan goes up line, trips over on the way back. That's a high shot to
give
Della.
up the open cone.
And Lippy makes that one work. The timeout strategy, the power D line gets the job done. They sneak up ahead, a break.
And let's just reflect on the leadership there of Ellipsis, calling the timeout, getting a power line out, and getting the job done. That is experience. The experience of winning nationals before, of all of the rep duties and the rep experience on this team, on this program. Really, really impressive.
This high release with just enough float. Della also having an advantage in the height matchup against Rickard's Tang. She knew exactly what Kat Phillips wanted, and she did provide.
Yeah, Rickard's 10 giving up a little bit of height there. It was a good throw, a good cut. Not a lot to be done there. And Ellipsis with her own sideline, of course, as you said, friends and family, but also their Ellipsis men. As we see the crowd here.
The dirty bird out in force.
Ah, yes. Did someone say it?
So Kat Phillips, a goal, 5 assists, and a block to her name. No surprises, she's getting big in this gold medal match to will her team across the line.
Manly are dreaming of 13-12 right now. That's what they need. They're going down breeze.
And a standard offensive line here. Reeve, Lynn, Milek. Though Otten's come across here maybe for some receiving presence.
This is a zone. They don't want to get stuck on this near sideline. It's already happened. Beautiful throw.
Milek slices through the cup there. Having to give up meters, but works the way through the cup. Again, Milek with the skillful throw. Can she see Rickards Tang out the far side? She can.
There it is. They did the job that needed to be done. They carved through that ellipsis zone, made short work of it. Most players getting a touch.
And the dream of 12-13 does play out here for Manly. They need to put on a big D-line here. Need to put the pressure on to get this back on serve. Otherwise, the game will slip through their fingers. And Milek, she was the key to that point.
Yeah,
She diced through that cup firstly for that backwards dump behind as Lippy were trying to trap the disc to this close sideline. And then again with that forward slice through the cup.
Yeah.
Broke open to Wu. And then Rickards Tang all by herself in the lonesome out that far wing.
She's been impressive. She's had a great final. I've really loved the way she's controlled the edge of the disc really well on her breakthrows, and they've been clutch in this game. As we see the sideline, golf clubs are out. The sideline asking for more, especially on this defensive point here. They would love a break-up wind.
Rickards Tang, very good and steady offensive player here. She's in the stats board with 3 goals and a block to her name. Also coming off a Firetails campaign from Gold Coast last year. And Reeve with the rip. That is received by Della. So what can the D-line of Manly do now? Prentice rifles it a bit too easily up to Patterson. Pretty flat mark by Reeve to deter the long option. So they settle for the undershots for now. Marsh. Marked by Otten with the long limbs. And she goes a throw up to Dot Lee.
Clutch by Dot Lee. What a grab.
Liv Hanrahan now leads Della into space. She goes and that one tumbles out of the hands.
Just a little bit too far. This is a chance for Manly.
These away shots so difficult. The wind pushing it a bit further than Hanrahan had wanted. Della, she touched the disc.
Touched it.
Just couldn't get her fingers under it.
Kiss onto the gloves.
This is your time now, but a timeout is called instead.
The time will be a little bit later, Avril. Just give it 75 seconds and we'll be back out there.
Ooh, so Holly Reeve taking a breather. They know this one is pivotal to claw it back to serve.
Yeah. And there's it's going to be really interesting to see. I thought the World Games team, I'm just thinking of the girls on the World Games team. I thought, having a look there, I thought, oh gee, they've lost a few. There's lost a few players from their 2022 outing. And but having watched this Nationals, I realised that we could see yet another great showing from Australia at World Games. Really excited to see the girls and the boys there coming together. But back to this game.
So the interesting stat that was different was the clean holds. So Manly's O-line, 7 clean holds, Ellipsis only 5. So it will be interesting if Manly can get this break back first of all, but if their O-line keeps on humming along as they have been through, the latter halves of this match, they will be very difficult to stop. But Holly Reeve, she's going to have to put in a lot of meters now. Not sure if she's got the stamina to hold on to after the 4 long days.
Self-confessed, not a great trainer is Holly. She's a vibes girl. She's been playing since 2015. She's taught by a teacher there and went on to play her first nationals in 2016 at Mixed Nationals with Hills. Played with us, Pie Wagon, in 2018. It was the first World Championship. Here we go.
And Manly move it up quickly. Otten has to wait for the sit under the disc, but no problem bringing it down. Carty now. Otten completely free Not sure what's going on with this Lippy offense. This is an intentional thing to mark space rather than mark players. Kim there using her face to help support to catch that. And Wentworth now, that's a big D from Marsh. There's gonna be some chat.
Wentworth landing very heavily. She's asking the question there.
Yeah, so Kim, the undercut here by Wentworth. Marsh just on that outside shoulder, gets a hand underneath. Very close to call this one.
The hand in there from Marsh in front of Wentworth. The question is whether there was too much contact there.
Yeah, more on the torso contact. The hand contact was very clean. Marsh got her hand right in between Wentworth's hands, but that shoulder, whether, you know, the torso, the shoulder were pushed given she was on that outside shoulder to get that position.
Yeah. Righto, let's see this again as we cue the replay. Wentworth coming in, clean hand, takes the feet of Wentworth. Well, we'll leave that with the players. It's back, so contested foul.
Yep.
Radio.
Not surprised. It's very close to call that one.
Jenna Kim with the disc. Punts
Oh!
it somehow. How did Wentworth get that?
I don't think that's going to count as a possession for Wu, but she definitely deflected it well for Wentworth. And another very sneaky inside flick. They get it to the break side. Continue is not on. Otten calling for it. Does get it. And now Kim working hard on that under. So again, jostling for position downfield. Going a bladey shot again, but that one too much blade for Otten to get under.
Yeah, one blade too many. Went to the well one too many times.
Ellipsis.
Asterix. Ampersand. Getting the disc moving on the far side, right in front of the Manly crowd. Goes up.
Prentice now, a nice gainer up to Della. Kat Phillips trots off, and Dot Lee drops in, almost releases
Drops
that disc.
and catches. Phillips to Dot Lee. That's been the connection of this final.
Oh, that was a complete let off there. Manly on the doorstep. Prime opportunity to get that one back. But
Yeah, and
it's
just went for that very, very difficult blade into the end zone. But Phillips here to Dot Lee. Jeez. Was hands, knee, catch.
Look at this one.
Oh.
Well saved.
Yeah.
Gosh, Ellipsis O-line don't need to be asked twice. They get the job done, and Dot Lee is now up to 4 goals, 1 assist and a block.
And suddenly we find ourselves, Avril, knocking on the door of the game.
Yeah.
14-12.
Very, very exciting here. So Manly just unable to convert that one. Gives Ellipsis the opportunity to take this game and take the gold medal. We have got Wentworth, Lynn, Rickards Tang, Milek, Gregory, Reeve and Wu on this offensive point for Manly. Can they garner another clean hold to extend it? They've had the 7 so far. Can they make it an 8th? And Lynn adjusts the glasses, picks up and throws it to Rickards Tang. Wentworth, that one, she was free as a bird, but the disc just flies above her head.
Yep, Alex Patterson picks it up. It's another backhand force,
Ooh.
but a miscommunication with her dump. Sees the disc go to ground in front of the end zone.
Yeah, Lynn will pick this one up. There'll be a set play in the end zone. Her dump Reeve is very far behind, and a break throw. Rickards Tang has time, has space, has the mitts to claw it down. Manly do peg one back. It is 14-12.
14-13 now.
14-13, thank you, Greenie. And Ellipsis will start an offense. Can they close this game out?
Well, and would you be surprised to see an experienced line come out?
Yep, Prentice.
for Ampersand.
Yeah, it'll be Prentice and Phillips. I expect Della will be present too. Ricard's hang that one, sailed a little over her head, but good enough to track that one down. Keep her eyes there on the prize. 2 hands on.
Yeah, they got part of the job done. Now the coaching staff for Manly will earn their biscuit. They need a defence here that is going to somehow put pressure, something different that the Ellipsis girls haven't seen. So difficult when you've got such an experienced line going downwind with momentum.
Yeah, on the line we have Liv Carr. Kim Marsh is having a blinder of a game. Kat Phillips, Dot Lee, Lucy Della, Alex Patterson, and of course Alex Prentice. So a very big offensive line here for Ellipsis to try and seal the deal on the gold medal. And intense defense. Otten and Ricard's Tang already on the handlers. So you see them trying to clog up this open side space. Milek leaves Phillips alone. That was a close bid by Otten. Marsh with the disc, and there's
Wentworth with a block.
Everyone on that far sideline cheering for Manly. Can they convert?
Wentworth again.
Big collision with Della.
Oh, it's an incredible bid by Wentworth. Let's have a look. Gets it and then gets clocked in the head by Lucy Della's elbow. Totally unintentional. She grabbed that, but she's going to have to come off with an injury. She has given it all in this game and in this tournament.
No stone left unturned for Wentworth, making sure that this campaign has been worth her while, trying to will her team to Universe Point, and as her teammates look on.
And I think it's Stoddard, Anna Stoddard, who wants to come on, putting her hand up.
Yep.
That's what you want to see. You want to see a player put their hand up wanting to come on.
So there's a foul and a contest there. And an injury.
Now, Della coming off here. It's actually Taylor Cardy coming on for Wentworth. We're seeing Michaela Diggum come on for Ellipsis for Della. Della might have been shaken up by that impact as well.
So a couple of substitutions here. The disc will go back to Milek because it was a contested foul.
Yeah, it must have been contested foul.
All right, so working hard in the underspace, Wu, but has to go around to the break side. Cardi with the sun in her eyes.
A great grab there. Clutch grab from Cardi. That thing was could have gone anywhere, didn't it? It was a blade into the breeze.
Yeah, coming in with heat, that's for sure. So there was a pick called. Play will be restarted. So Cardi now. Jump back to Milek. Wants that break throw on the backhand.
Holly Reeve has to inject herself. Gets this pass.
Patterson hot on her heels. So undercut now.
Just out of the reach.
Too far for Wu to wrangle. And Ellipsis. Second time of asking. Prentice wants to get it out. Holsters the huck. Settles for an under to Phillips. As Manly work out their defensive matchups. Dot Lee in the underspace. 1-2 with Phillips. Wu catches up on the mark. And Marsh wanting that around. Gets it. They are forcing Ellipsis to this close sideline, trying to chuck the disc into the wind. And Phillips fakes, shoots to Dignam. 1-2, 1-2. Now on the doorstep for the gold medal.
Cannot give up the open cone. They give up the open cone, and it's a goal. Ellipsis Ampersand win Australian Nationals in the women's division in 2025. Avril, we have seen a fantastic final as the mosh pit now is with the Ellipsis girls in the end zone.
Ampersand, aren't they amped to get this gold medal up across their rivals in Manly Mavericks? The two undefeated teams coming into this gold medal match. There were swings, there were turns, there was everything to like about this gold medal game. Couldn't pick it. with both sides looking a little nervy to start, but in the end, those O-lines really coming into play, getting smooth. In the end, Kat Phillips, the absolute champion, willing her team here, getting a late break up and then managing to hold here after Manly getting possession. Reeve doing everything she could for her team, but...
And we see the Manly sideline clapping their girls. A great effort from both teams. And I'm sure the Manly crowd are also clapping Ellipsis, who put on a fantastic show. Such a great club. And the premier club once again in Australia.
Yeah, so the last time, so we have a look at the stats here. There were 4 breaks in the end. Ampersand managing to get up towards the tail end of the match. Turnovers are plenty for both in the windy conditions. And actually, Manly's O-line looking a little bit more slick than Ellipsis, but the Ellipsis D-line managing to convert when they got those opportunities. So in the end, the conversion and the opportunities making the biggest difference in this game.
And I'm excited for Women's Ultimate going forward. There's a lot of reps both in the under-24s and in the World Games that we're going to see later in the year. And think of the experience they've just gained in a big game like this in front of a big crowd on the biggest stage in Australia.
Absolutely. It's been just an incredible ride here, this Nationals Women's Division. Many, many close games, Greenie. It's who really can show up on the day and perform at their best that will take away the win. And I can't wait to see more battles across these two clubs. So this is the first time since 2021 that it hasn't been Ellipsis to Ellipsis final. So Manly also being the finalist back in 2021, coming to resurgence again with a chance in the gold medal. But gee, I can't wait for the rest of this year and then into next season. Plenty of bright sparks ahead, plenty of good performances to come. And this is indeed the final game of the Australian Ultimate Championships for 2025. ULTI.TV alongside Mike Palmer, Rex, Katie, Michael, Cece, Jay, Jack, and all the commentators in the booth. Thank you so much for joining me, Greenie. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, and a little shout out to Moz and Felix, the kid, the wonderful, wonderful kid. And from all of us here at ULTI.TV, thank you and see you at the next one.
In the name of giving more, we're offering access to more games via our YouTube membership plan.
More action.
More of the best teams, more of the action, more ways to watch.
ULTI.TV. ULTI.TV.